For all your news, advice and product information, visit MoneyExpert.com.
Hello and welcome to MoneyExpert TV. I'm Esther and I'm joined today by Markey from Insurer Morvan. He's here to talk to us a bit about rising fuel costs and the steps that drivers can take to keep their costs down. Hi there, Pete. Thanks for coming along today.
Good to be here.
Before we move on to fuel costs and driving, let's just have a look at some of the stories that have been making the headlines over the past few days. Now, Pete, one of the stories I thought was really interesting was this story about the fact that Britons are going on an £8 billion spending spree, which seems to go completely against all we're hearing about people having to sort of tighten the purse strings and sort of rein back their spending. I mean, what do you make of this one?
It's quite a surprise, isn't it? Because you think that people are really going to be tightening their belts with a difficult situation, but it seems to be that UK shoppers are looking for a bargain and they can get it on TVs and holidays and all sorts. So no surprise, people are looking for bargains and out there to grab them and spend. And
it's really interesting, isn't it, that I think the article is saying that actually when it comes to holiday spending, it's the very last thing that people are prepared to sort of cut back on. You know, they will perhaps, make little steps elsewhere. But with holidays, it's still really important, isn't it? Yeah,
I think particularly for families, and it's people's getaway, it's their escape from their everyday lives. And I think, if times are tight, it's probably one of the first things people want to do, get away, go overseas, whatever, have an adventure. So why not?
Thanks very much, Pete. Moving on now, let's look at today's issue, which is rising fuel costs. Now, it's been a pretty gloomy time for drivers of late. I mean, they've seen insurance premiums increase, there's new car tax bans, there's also a planned new car tax. And obviously we've got the price of petrol going up a great deal. Now, Pete, just tell me, how much is it going to cost drivers now, perhaps, just to get a tank of petrol?
Well, I filled up my car on the way over here today, and it cost 119p per litre, which is a big step up.
Sky high, isn't it?
Sky high, and forecasts say that could get as high as 150p by next year.
Yeah, that's going to mean a huge sort of jump, then, isn't it?
It's huge. It's over 30%, and then that could climb up as high as 230p, so it's huge. So for everyday motorists driving, particularly, needing to drive to work or taking family around, it's a big shift and quite a dramatic one.
And why is this then? Is this all to do with the price of oil then? What's sort of causing this?
Yeah, the fuel prices are absolutely what's driving it. So I think it is a big worry, obviously, for people who use their cars every day.
Now, that all sounds sort of fairly bleak, doesn't it? But there are some simple steps that drivers can take on just to bring their costs down, just by being a bit more efficient in the use of their cars.
Absolutely, some really simple things like getting rid of weight on the car, like roof racks, making sure that tyres are kind of pumped up and at the right level and efficient. And just things like not braking so harshly.
Something we all do, isn't it?
I think so, yeah, absolutely. So some everyday really simple things about driving more effectively and looking after your car and wear and tear that can definitely help with the everyday costs.
Now, another simple thing, isn't it? It's just to tell people, maybe just leave your cars at home, get on the bus, get on a bike. There are other options out there, aren't there?
Absolutely. Again, it's what's practical for each person, because it may be for some people they absolutely need their car. But I think for others, it's a case of evaluate your journey. Do you need to take your kids to school in the car, for example? Or do you need to go shopping in the car?
Now, Morvan's actually introduced a new insurance product, hasn't it, to help drivers drive in a more green and more efficient way. Tell me a bit more about that one.
Absolutely. Well, we did something with the government last year and a range of other companies called Together. People like Barclaycard and O2 were part of that. And we've launched a product called Green Wheels on the back of that, which is all about a win-win product, really. It's about helping the environment by cutting people's CO2 emissions and also helping drivers cut down on their fuel bills by driving more efficiently. Green Wheels is a little green box that gets installed under someone's dashboard. Great for the customer. It's free of charge for them. Costs us over £250, but free to the customer. And it tracks and monitors how they're driving, gives them a report on morethan.com that they can view and check their driving.
And what will this show? Tell me more about the report.
Well, I've got one fitted myself. I often forget it's there. It's completely invisible.
You can't see it, then?
I can't see it. Under the dashboard, it's about the size of a broadband modem, but you would not know it's there. You get a report that's updated in real time each day. You can go on. It's a bit addictive, a bit like Facebook. You'll go and go, how am I driving today? You can go in, have a look at it, check it out, see how you're driving, and there's really practical tips that you can help make a difference.
Moving on now, let's look a little bit more about the issue of rising car insurance premiums. Now, the latest figures from the AA Premium Index show that premiums have risen by about 6% in the past year alone. Now, whilst it's fairly sort of worrying news, there are some simple ways that you can cut costs. For example, the latest figures from the Association of British Insurance suggest that you can save 35% by comparing as few as 5 providers. Now, this is a really simple step, isn't it? Just doing a bit of shopping around for your insurance premium.
Yeah, and it's very easy for consumers to do, to select a range of insurers and get a range of quotes and prices. The key thing I'd encourage every consumer to do is check what they're buying and check what they're being quoted for, because it's easy to quote for a lower cost insurance, but people need to make sure they get like for like. So do they have a legal protection cover of any kind? Have they got breakdown cover on there? So it's really important that people make sure they get the product that's right for them.
And what about as a driver? Are there steps you can take perhaps in your driving or in other actions with your car that will actually help you to reduce potentially your premium?
Absolutely. I mean, some very basic things like keeping your car in the garage, which is better for security than on the driveway. So for some people, they've got lots of clutter in their garage like I've got. It's time to clear the garage out, get the car back in there again. And things like an immobiliser or a special lock or something fitted to the steering wheel, all those things help reduce premiums. So again, practical, quite simple things can really make a difference.
Thanks very much, Pete.
Thank you.
Moving on now, it's competition time. If you fancy yourself as a bit of a money guru and want to win one of our Money Expert mugs, all you need to do is answer this simple question. According to the Association of British Insurers, how much can you save by comparing as few as 5 insurance providers? Is it A, 25%, B, 30%, or C, 35%? Send us your answers to quiz@moneyexpert.com. That's just about all for this week. I'd just like to say thanks again to Pete Markey from More Than for joining me today. Thanks very much, Pete.
Pleasure.
And to say do join us again next week on Money Expert TV. Bye for now.